Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, when we moved into this 80s home, we had no idea all of the things that we were gonna have to do.
No. We had to convert our dining room into a bedroom. We had to change electrical outlets.
And we had to take out a lot of wallpaper.
A lot of wallpaper.
So in this video, we're gonna show you all the things we have done to this 80s home so far. And there's still so much to do. We hope that you enjoy it and it gives you so many ideas. And remember, you can DIY too. Let's get into it. So this room hadn't been updated in over 30 years. And now that we have a multi-generational household, we wanted this central living space to be bright and cozy.
And since we now live by the water, we were inspired by coastal themes.
We looked at a lot of moods and styles for this living room, and the coastal vibe resonated with everyone in the family.
Now we had to decide on how we were going to transform this living room.
We definitely knew we were going to paint this entire room white to make it brighter and look more spacious.
As a tall person, I felt a little claustrophobic because of how dark the room was. And the down rod was too low on this old fan, so I kept hitting my head. Since we were already going to replace it, we decided to update the can lights as well. And our family decided that we wanted to add more of the halo lights that we just installed in the other room.
And we knew the old fireplace was going to need a new refresh. We also planned to update all of the light switches and electrical outlets. This was fairly easy for us in our 90s home, but we had no idea of the challenges of doing this in an 80s home. Our poor living room was a dumping ground during our move, so we know she's ready for this makeover. So we've already put down all of the paper last night and moved everything out of here. So now we're going to prime and paint.
Today's goal is to make everything in this room much brighter. We're going to start with priming this faux wood. After we were done priming, we marked the spaces for the recessed lighting. We DIY'd this part by using a string that was tied to the center point of the room, which was the fan. After we tied a slip knot to the down rod, we were able to walk in a complete circle around the fan. This was the first step in measuring where we wanted the lights to go on the ceiling. We know there's different ways of doing this, but this is the method that worked best for us.
You really need the string because your eyes will trick you. Depending on where you are in the room, your holes will look like they're changing distances.
Then we used the measuring tape to make sure that the spacing was accurate. We both felt good that we were making progress in this project. I usually make a pilot hole in the center of my template like this to make it easier on myself when I start my holes. We took a moment to rest and check out the light patterns in the ceiling.
It seems like laying down is the only way to check if your lights are equal, but we also like to imagine how it's going to be in our new living room.
We did all of this measuring and drilled the pilot holes because it's a little nerve-wracking to cut a hole in your mother-in-law's ceiling. For this DIY project, I'm using a hammer drill, which is way stronger than a regular drill. I should have took my finger off the trigger before I pulled out of the hole. Don't worry about that, I have an easy solution that you're gonna love. I had to do this 8 times, and yes, I had to concentrate on each one. You know, I really didn't want to mess up on my holes, but I already knew what my solution was going to be. You know what I like about DIY? They make products for when you do the job, and they make products for when you mess up on the job.
And we pretty much know how to use all of them. I'm so glad the first time we did this lighting, we had a friend to show us the way. We really had to work together to help each other on each step. Now we were using glow sticks to put up in the attic so we can see where the wiring needs to go. This process definitely takes patience because you want to put the glow stick up and hold it long enough for hubby to see where he needs to drop the wires. And sometimes it takes a little while.
It's also like 100 degrees up in the attic, so I'm trying to go fast and be safe at the same time. This is the easy product that I was telling you guys about earlier. It's called a goof trim ring for your recessed can lighting. The mistakes I made earlier when cutting the hole will all be covered up. My neighbor Mike shared this DIY project saver with me, and now I'm sharing it with you.
Once we were finished cutting all our holes, it was time to paint again. This time we were doing a glossy white around all of the trim. And we wanted to put our first layer of white paint over the primer. I like using different hues and finishes of white paint. We are wrapping up this leg of our DIY living room makeover series. If you have an 80s or outdated space, we hope that this video has given you ideas on how to update it. We appreciate you so much. Now let's move on to the lighting. We were on a roll. We painted the walls, ceiling, and trim, and worked together to cut the holes in the ceiling. We picked out our new halo lights, and we were ready to replace all the old lighting in this living room. And we started this part of the journey by removing our recessed lights.
I'm going to take you up into the attic with me, and we're going to locate these lights under 17 inches of insulation. We found one, and now we got to find the other one. I already turned off the power to the room, but this non-contact voltage meter says that there's still power going to this light. So this is the first situation that we ran into. We just could not turn off the power to this light. It turns out that the power to the lights were off. My non-contact voltage tester was picking up phantom voltage from nearby energized wires. I'm definitely ready to get these lights out of here. Some can lights are attached to the rafters with clamps. They use these super large staples to attach these. I wanted this to be an easy morning DIY project, but we ended up doing it in the middle of the day when it was 100 degrees in the attic. We're changing out these lights because we want all of the lights to be on the same switch, and these wires are the ones that start the whole process. It's time to go downstairs where it's cooler and remove the lights from the ceiling. When you have projects that are a little tough, just think about how they're going to look in the end. Any updates that you make will be an improvement. With DIY, we found that it's always easier to tear something down than to build it up. For some, demolition is the best part of home updates. We like to see the transformation of our projects.
You may be wondering, why would we go through all of this? Well, these can lights are very bulky and they also use a lot of energy. We wanted evenly distributed lighting across the ceiling. Our goal was to improve visual comfort in this space and reduce eye strain.
We were on the tail end of this project, and my wife was helping me to locate the holes for each of the lights when I went back up into the attic when this happened. My old shoes caused my foot to slip on all that insulation, and my legs went through the ceiling. It made a big mess in our living room. My mother-in-law was away, and now I had to call her and tell her she has a big hole in her ceiling. I'm so happy that my friend Mike and my son came to the rescue. By this time, it was late at night and I was tired. We took off the old fan and capped the wires. I felt embarrassed because I've never had anything like this happen to me before. It was kind of weird because all that heat from earlier today came into the living room. I'm so grateful that Mike came over that evening to show me how to make a square out of that hole. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a DIY project go completely wrong where now you have a new project? Let me know in the comments.
This accident happened so fast that when I saw you fall through the ceiling, my first reaction was just to push your foot up. You pulled yourself up before you could fall to the ground, and I was so glad that you were okay. It shook the whole family for a moment, but we knew we needed to get that hole patched up as soon as possible. There was so much insulation everywhere, so we bagged as much of it as we could so that we could put it back in the attic. Our family will always remember this day and this project. We're so grateful that no one got seriously hurt.
So after gaining my confidence back, I continued with the ceiling repair. I drilled in support studs so that I could securely attach this larger piece of drywall. It was the next day, so we went to the home improvement store to get some drywall for the hole. Cutting out the shape that would correctly repair the hole in the ceiling would prove to be a challenge for us. We had to sand down the sides several times to get it to finally fit in place. After that part was done, I started wiring all the pot lights. It felt a little overwhelming at times because I forgot how many individual wires I would have to cut. The thing that kept me going was that I could see our family watching movies with the halo lights on. Just so you understand a little more of what I'm talking about, there's 3 individual wires inside of each of these white wires, and they all have to be trimmed. For us, one of the best and most challenging part of this DIY project was updating these single switches and turning them into 3-way switches so that we could turn the lights on and off on both sides of the room. All of the wiring has been trimmed and now they're ready for the lights. When it came to wiring the switches, my wife took the lead on this part and learned everything she needed to know to make it happen. She looked at all of the electrical graphs and charts for this kind of setup and figured it out. Now we have modern wiring and switches in this 80s home. Before we do the lights, we have some unfinished business with the ceiling that we have to tend to.
We had a new pressure of trying to match the swirl design in the ceiling, but at this point it was going to take up so much time and money and make a new type of mess, so we made the decision to patch and match the ceiling the best we can. This was probably the most discouraging part of the makeover. We just wanted to brighten this space for our multi-generational family, and we did not expect this repair to take so long. We've patched holes in walls before pretty easily, but it was something about working over our heads that made it so challenging. Most every DIY makeover goes through this, so don't feel bad if you've ever wanted to quit. Just regroup, refocus, and get back in there.
It's gonna match up.
Okay.
You just shove the wires up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do this one. And you put this one up too. And this is how the ceiling looked when we were done.
But we knew we were at the max of our skill level, and it was time to bring in a professional. This is how it looked when he was finished, but wait until it dries.
With that out of the way, we got our second wind. We needed it because we had to take the lights out again. We let the drywall sit for a couple of days to completely dry. Then we repainted the entire ceiling so that everything would match. But my mother-in-law came home before everything was complete. The cool thing about it is that she didn't freak out. By this time, she knew that we would handle it and everything would turn out fine. We could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is the part of the makeover that I was waiting for. It's fairly easy to install these pot lights. If you choose to do this project, we believe that you'll be extremely happy with it. It's basically plug and play at this point. We found that at first, some DIY projects may seem hard because it may be the first time that you've tried it. If you keep going and you don't give up, you'll have more confidence and new skills. So now we decided to install a modern fan my wife found on Amazon. I have installed many fans on this channel and this is one of my favorites. We both love the look, feel, and features of this fan, and it's fairly easy to put up. If you want to see a step-by-step video on how to install it, check out the link in the description. I didn't say it earlier, but this fan had to be replaced. It was so low I kept hitting my head on the glass part. But with this new fan, I don't even have to worry about that anymore. Take a look at all the work we did with the pot lights and the fan. With the help of Mike, our son, and the professional drywaller, we are beyond overjoyed at how our halo lights and the ceiling repair all turned out.
Babe, I love this lighting update in our living room. We're gonna take a moment and then come back to show you what we did to the fireplace.
We painted, we installed lighting, and now we're gonna tackle the fireplace. So let's get into it.
So the plan is to free up the space where the TV and entertainment system went and create a look similar to this.
We started by removing this old brass fireplace surround. Then we had a professional chimney sweep and flue cleaning because this fireplace hasn't been used in years. This fireplace made the room smell musty and dusty.
It was like a stale odor.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
We wanted a clean, fresh vibe for our coastal theme. We also found out why there was a cold draft in the room. The ash dump door had disintegrated and we needed a way to cut off that draft.
Door on the other side, but it's not airtight, so you'll feel when it's real cold, when it's 20 degrees, you're going to feel the cold air coming in. So
I didn't even know
just
that.
put something over top of it. Since you're not going to be using it, you can put anything over there, wood or whatever you got laying around here.
Okay.
We were also glad to get this cleaned out. Our plan was to get an electric fireplace, so we had the chimney capped off.
The great thing is that if we changed our mind in the future, we could still be able to use it.
Hubby found something that he really liked, so he taped off the space that was needed.
Everything was looking good, but now I had to deal with the space up at the top. Can you see what's going on? I gotta figure out a way to put this TV where the mantle's at.
Now, if you've been following our living room makeover series, you can tell this fireplace clean out happened before we did all of this.
There was a lot of things going on with this living room makeover. While waiting for the ceiling to dry, my son and I decided that we're going to remove the fireplace mantle. The only thing about this removal is that there's an electrical outlet in the middle of it. So we have to be careful and make sure that the power is actually off. Guys, we were surprised at how many different electrical things were supplied to this one room. This mantle was huge and heavy, and it was solid wood. It was also nailed into the brick and mortar, so that made it really tough to remove from the brick. I'm so happy that over the years my son has grown up and he still helps me with these DIY projects. We were super excited when the mantle finally came off the brick wall. I used our old license plate and used it as a replacement for the old ash dump door.
Nobody's gonna see it, and we just needed to cover the hole. You know, we thought about painting this brick, but as we kept cleaning and brushing it, it really seemed to brighten up, so we decided to just keep it natural. It kind of reminded us of a sand color, which works perfectly for our coastal theme in this living room. It was amazing how much dust was trapped behind that mantle. So what do you guys think? How would you DIY this brick fireplace?
I'm cleaning up the fireplace area because we decided to go with an electric fireplace TV stand, and it just arrived. The only thing is that it has 100 million pieces, and you know what it's like to put furniture together. So this is going to be a fun, unexpected DIY project. I'm not joking, we're literally going to have to put this thing together piece by piece. We're thankful that during this part of the DIY, our daughter decided to help us out.
We finally finished the framing of the stand, and now we were marking the spot where we wanted the TV to mount. Our initial thought was to use a swivel mount so that there was room for the sound bar.
When I took a closer look at the top part of the fireplace, I noticed that there were leftover nails from the mantle that needed to be removed.
Our initial thought was a swivel TV mount so that our sound bar could sit on the stand. But we ran into two challenges. The mount for this size TV is pretty large, and we were concerned about drilling holes into the brick. The other thing is that we had to figure out what to do with the old wiring from the mantle because it was located right where the mount was supposed to go.
We had to take a moment and reevaluate what we're going to do in this area. Meanwhile, we finished up our ceiling and lighting DIY projects.
We'll leave a link of the previous episode in the description so you can see the lighting transformation.
And we gave our trim a little touch-up paint over the mantle area.
We decided to cap off and cover the wiring and just place the TV directly on the stand. The whole family was in agreement with this decision, so now we had to keep building the cabinets and installing the doors.
Building this was one of the most tedious things that we've ever done. It required so much patience, but luckily the directions were clear. For furniture you have to build yourself, this is decent quality. Alright guys, so this is the moment of truth to see if the TV will fit on the fireplace console.
I know we moved this TV before, but it seemed like it got heavier and the base wider. I thought we measured it, but the soundbar didn't fit the cubby hole. We had to move the TV back to place it in front.
After looking at it from across the room, I noticed that this TV might be a little too heavy. We both saw that the top piece of wood started to concave inward. The old console distributed the weight more evenly, so we came up with an idea to build a wider base. We're currently in the middle of our living room makeover series. I don't want to have to keep the TV behind the soundbar, so I'm going to raise it up by creating a simple television stand. The soundbar is 40 inches wide. We're going to create a TV stand that's a little bit wider than the soundbar so that I can stick my hands behind it to fix it or remove any wire. I also don't want the television too high, so I'm going to make it just above the soundbar. It's probably going to be around 7 inches high. This will give a custom space for the soundbar and distribute the weight of the TV.
We headed out to our home improvement store and we looked for a 2x12 piece of wood. We needed it to be wide enough to handle the base of our large TV. Guys, solid wood is no joke. We have much respect for woodworkers. We bought the wood stand in to check out the size, and it was so heavy for baby girl.
Everything's fitting well, but I could still see the wires behind it. So I had to make one more adjustment. I cut about 1.5 inches off of each side. The project was getting long, so I decided to spray paint it instead of using the stain. I didn't like the finished look of the spray paint, so I decided to gel stain it.
I'm glad we changed it up because the paint was looking gray. The gel stain did great at giving it a more glossy look, and it had a protective coating. After the stain cured, it was time to bring it in and see the final look. Our first custom wood build was perfect for this project. It provides space for the soundbar, and it gives space on the side for us to reach the cords. It's also very sturdy and distributes the weight of the TV to the strongest part of the fireplace stand. I love this fireplace makeover because it allowed us to update and refresh things without tearing up too much stuff. We have easy access to the back of our TV, our brick's still intact, and our new fireplace is actually warmer and so much easier to use.
I'm glad that this fireplace gave us more room.
We can't wait to show you the final reveal.
So let's get into it.
If this is your first time with us, welcome. Here is how the living room looked before we did this makeover.
The old wood paneling and fixtures made the space feel confined. And because there was no high ceiling, the room was dark. As a tall person, it made me feel a little claustrophobic.
Now we're done with most of the DIY projects and it's time to add the decor. Remember our inspiration pics? We're going to show you what we took from each one to create our own coastal vibe. First up was the light colored couch.
We found a furniture store that actually had a coastal design center in it. We were taking pictures to compare couches, and for some reason, our son was in every single one.
He was our official couch tester. It didn't seem like these couches were going to fit in our space, and they seemed really expensive. I couldn't help myself, I just had to look on Facebook Marketplace, and that's when I found her. She was the perfect size, and she looked even better when we went to pick her up. I also found this little cutie. It wasn't white or cream, but it still fit in the neutral family. This inspo pic reminded us to add some wall pieces and greenery.
These white walls needed something. We chose this large canvas piece because it made us feel relaxed in the room.
We're still looking for something larger to fill up this wall, but this piece is a good start.
Then we installed this round piece that we had from our previous home. I like round pieces because they're visually appealing and they make me feel good.
I'm glad we were able to find a new place for this piece in our new living room.
You might remember this piece from our other kitchen.
This was actually our very first decor piece that we agreed on instantly, as soon as we both saw it.
We put it up here to help balance out the room.
I also found these plant stands on Facebook Marketplace and I thought they would go well with our metal finishes. We found these really cute flower pots that we all liked, and our goal was to repot one of our larger plants into the two new containers. Me and baby girl did not realize how hard that task was. We had no idea that this plant had grown so much. We had to be careful and take our time. I love doing little projects with my daughter. It gives us time to bond and laugh. We finally got them apart. We were happy that we got 2 plants and we still had some left in the original container. We monitored them closely and they are doing so well in their new home on their new stand. Since there's a countertop area between the living room and kitchen, we decided to look for some bar stools. We didn't see any at the furniture store that we really liked, but Marketplace did not disappoint. We found 3 bar height stools with a 360 swivel. The cream color was perfect with the metal finish.
Guys, we want to know,
what decor would you add to this coastal theme? Let us know your ideas in the comments. And I have a confession. I found another couch on Facebook Marketplace. Our seller threw in a love seat if we would just take both couches. The deals were so good, especially when people need to move or downsize. And believe me, we cleaned everything. We started with sprinkling a little bit of baking soda and vacuuming each piece. We also used a fabric pre-conditioner to pull out any odors. We then rented a professional upholstery cleaner and gave every single piece of furniture that we brought into the house a thorough cleaning. We repeated this process for each piece of furniture. So this is the couch we on Facebook Marketplace. We're gonna clean it today and spot clean it. It has a stain right here. So we're gonna check that out. And then we're gonna finish cleaning this one. So I'm gonna finish vacuuming. We vacuumed it, but we brought it in, and then we're going to clean it. While everything's drying, let's recap this DIY living room makeover before the final reveal.
We've done a lot for this project and it was definitely worth it. We hope that this series inspires you and gives you lots of ideas for your next home improvement project.
Our outdated 80s living room has now been updated with a coastal theme.
Now everyone in our multi-generational family loves this living space. It's bigger, brighter, and it's more inviting. We're about to transform my mother-in-law's dining room into our son's bedroom.
This was definitely a challenge because my mom's dining room hasn't changed in over 2 decades. And this is the photo my son said he wanted his new room to look like. Our multi-generational living arrangement has now called for a room makeover.
So this is a good view of the room with the chandelier just sticking right over the bed. You can see that, and so you definitely got to change that out because this is a heavy chandelier. You don't want anybody to get hurt with that. And so, like I said, it's a lot of wallpaper that's coming off the walls already, so hopefully that won't be too hard to do.
The plan for this room was to get as much of the furniture out and to bring things to the center of the room, and then to start with removing the wallpaper. For a lot of our room makeovers, we like to start at the top of the room, do whatever we need to do, and then start working our way down to the floor.
This wallpaper is old. It's originally from the house from back in the 80s. It has 2 layers that were trying to peel themselves off the wall. Some parts were easy to take off and others took a little bit of work.
After we finished smoothing the walls, we began to paint the ceiling. Well, hubby painted the ceiling because he's tall enough to just stand up and go ahead and put a fresh coat of paint on. He had a great idea to use our deck brush and a heavy wool roller to get into all of those crevices of our swirl ceiling.
We were on a budget and custom furniture can be pricey. So we went on Facebook Marketplace and found some pieces that we used to create the look our son was going for.
We had to bring them all into the room to see how they were going to fit together. I was so glad at the pieces we found, at the deals we made, because everything was less than $60. So we're going to try to get that and that and that to all look like one color. At this point, we were tired of this DIY project, and we still had so much more to go. We had to finish painting the walls, stain all the furniture, and then install any shelving and anything on the wall that we wanted to do before we changed out this floor.
Yeah, we had to paint a lot because we were doing 2 rooms at one time.
I did not realize that wainscoting takes a little bit longer to paint than a flat wall.
We're going to show you the results of the other room in another video.
And then we're going to put the white on. I'm glad we put all the furniture in the room to just stage it and see what it would look like, because at the last minute, our son decided he did not want the top mirror of the dresser. So he got that out and was ready to take down the chandelier.
This was my first time removing a chandelier and it was like a trophy when I was done. The thing I like is that we were able to use the fan that he had in his old room. The funny thing is that I had to watch my own video to install it this time because I forgot where some of the pieces went.
The old dining room had a dimmer switch, and so when we installed the new fan, we had to upgrade the switch so that he could turn it on and use its remote. Our son wanted new hardware for his dresser, so we had him pick out pulls, and then we had to drill the holes, the new holes, for them to fit. Since our furniture collection was made of a lot of different materials, we had wood, we had composite, we had like MDF, we decided to try a gel stain to make the whole look cohesive. We didn't want a painted look, but we didn't think regular stain would work on some of the other pieces.
Using the gel stain was harder than expected because it took so long to dry.
Now we had to address what happens when you convert one room into a bedroom, and that is you don't have any closets.
Since we didn't want to add any more bulky furniture into this space, we built him an open closet with a shelf and rod bracket and PVC pipe.
Now it's time to check out how the clothes will hang. We are loving the clearance between the top and the bottom. We like the depth of the shelves, and we also like how our bottom shirt hangs but doesn't touch the floor. Faye got that little boost of energy you get when you finish your DIY project and it's looking good, so he went ahead and put up Granddad's shadow box.
And I also put up the custom train shelves that I made for my son. We did all that we can do, and now it's time for the professionals to come in and put in the wood flooring.
At this point, we are seeing the signs of the transformation, and we were also excited to see what the new flooring was going to be, because We were all done with this old Berber carpeting. These 2 rooms were the last places in the house that had carpet, so we were just excited about getting that replaced.
The company moved the furniture to one side of the room, and we were impressed with how fast they were able to do it in one day. The reason we went with the hardwood flooring is because my mother-in-law wanted to match what she had in the rest of the home.
It is so funny how new flooring can bring attention to your vents and make them seem so old. We didn't even want to look for new ones, so we just took them outside, gave them a good cleaning and sanding, and just spray painted them black. They got a quick little refresh and it worked perfectly.
Now our son directed us to where he wanted everything to go.
He was so patient during this process, so we just wanted to add the finishing touches and make this room as nice as we can. Once we arranged all the lighting and installed new outlets, we were able to shop and finally replace all of his old linens with new ones. Now let's check out our before and after transformation. Wow, can you believe we did this transformation from a dining room to our son's bedroom, and he is really enjoying it, and that's what matters most. Now the only thing missing is the door, and they're working on that one.
He wanted privacy, so we installed bifold doors that would still give him access to the parlor room.
These bifold doors worked great for this space, and they looked so nice on the front side.
So we decided to transform the back side of the bifold door. The problem we had to solve was how would we cover the screws protruding out of the other side.
So here's what we're working with, and we're going to use peel and stick as an easy, budget-friendly way to elevate the look of our door. We got peel and stick samples from Dollar Tree and our local home improvement store.
We looked in several locations for peel and stick options we felt would go with the parlor's decor.
We considered the color, texture, and size of each tile. Now it's time to decide which one we could work with.
The best way for us to find the right tile pattern was to place it up against the bifold door and envision how it would enhance the room's decor. After our family meeting, because everybody had to be on board with this decision,
we voted on each peel and stick sample until we had a clear winner.
We decided to go with what we knew best. We all picked the peel and stick vinyl flooring tiles.
Then we gave the backside a fresh coat of paint.
In order to make each peel and stick tile look cohesive on the bifold door, we measured and marked how they should fit inside of each rectangle.
We picked up some extra tile adhesive because we are going to be installing these peel and stick floor tiles vertically on the door.
Remember, we've installed peel and stick tiles on a bathroom wall and a laundry room wall. We'll place the links to those videos in the description.
This inspiration photo sparked our imagination of what we could do to cover the end of the screws without purchasing pulls. We did not want to put any more holes in the door, so we found a budget-friendly way to kind of create that same look.
Here's a tip when using peel and stick flooring. We found that it's best to use the arrows on the back side and keep them all either up or down, because switching the arrow direction will change the pattern direction. We also place numbers on each tile because the measurements are different and based on the size of each individual rectangle.
I was getting excited about giving this door a more modern aesthetic. Even better is that this DIY was very cost effective. We only needed 10 tiles and a piece of wood. We really like the color, style, and pattern of these tiles. Peel and stick is such a fun way to create trendy styles without needing advanced DIY skills or a big budget. All you need is a little creativity. So the wood trim we found was flat on one side and curved on the other side. We decided to cut down the pieces to make an illusion of having door handles. Baby girl helped me to notch out the back with the Dremel so we could fit it right over the end of the screws. When the fit was good, it was time to smooth them out and give them a good coating. We weren't sure at what color we wanted, so we just went with black because we had a piano in that room that was black, and we thought it was a sleek look that's easy to touch up that would just elevate the space. Now that we have all of our supplies, we'll show you our easy bifold door makeover with peel and stick tiles.
You might think that it's easier to just coat the surface with glue, but that's not the case. If you do that, the tile won't stick and just fall down or slide. When placing tiles on vertical surfaces, they need the glue and adhesive from the tile. Both should work together to keep peel and stick tiles in place. Take note that adding too much glue will make it harder for the tile to stay in position.
Even though we've done this so many times, you still need a lot of patience when doing DIY projects together as a family.
Our daughter came in to show how the peel and stick backing paper may rip and be a little hard to get off the tile. Don't worry, sometimes this is part of the process. We visually looked at the height of each tile, and we used a tape measure to make sure they were all the same height inside of each rectangle. We were so excited because we were seeing how the transformation of this bifold door was taking place.
I am still amazed at how versatile peel and stick tiles are. You can literally create and design anything without having to spend a lot of money, and I love that for you and me. These tiles were a perfect fit for each of the panels of the door. One challenge we had to overcome is keeping the panels flat, so we had to put chairs on the other side so that as we added pressure, they wouldn't keep folding open. This was important because we had to put pressure on these peel and stick tiles just as if they were on the floor. The pressure helps the tile adhesive to bond to the surface, and that's what we want. We let them set overnight, and then it was time to put on the hardware. Well, it's our faux hardware. Look at the back of our basic bifold door. We transformed this space with peel and stick tiles.
After everything was all done, we were happily surprised and extremely excited how this peel and stick bifold door makeover turned out, especially since it was on the back side of the door.
The hardware and texture of the tile really camouflaged the backside of this bifold door. It looks like a custom door. It is beautiful. Let us know in the comments, how would you use peel and stick?
Our son really appreciates his newly made privacy bifold door, and we're really enjoying the flexibility of being able to open and close 2 rooms.
Today we're taking you inside our 80s era laundry room makeover.
And trust us, this tiny space had way more surprises than we expected once we started tearing into it.
Stick around because this transformation turned out better than we imagined.
So let's get into it.
This is the smallest laundry room ever. And we say this because none of the walls can be expanded any further.
I already replaced the dryer timer and then the dryer broke down again.
This set had been here for many years and it was time to get a new one. We thought this was going to be a quick paint refresh with some new appliances. We started off this DIY by measuring the space, and this is when we found out our first surprise.
We were shocked that our 80s home couldn't house modern appliances in the same way. We had to do something, so we just took the old stuff out.
We figured clearing everything out would help us to see the space a little better. These were good wood cabinets, and even though they didn't fit in our space, we knew someone else could use them. We removed each piece so that it could be resold on Facebook Marketplace. Okay guys, the old cabinets are down and this laundry room is officially a blank canvas. So we connected with Home Cabinets to help us design the perfect setup for our small space. What we truly appreciate is how easy they make the whole process. Every style, every finish, and every size is right in front of you. We love how easy it is to use their free design service. It's simple. We sent in our room measurements, shared a few inspiration pics, and their design team created a custom layout. They show you 3D renderings, recommend cabinet styles, and all the pieces you need so that you can order with confidence. And for DIYers like us, you know that kind of support is priceless. If you're planning a kitchen, laundry room, or any cabinet upgrade, take advantage of their free design service. It saves time, money, and helps your project come out looking clean and professional. Home Cabinets are sturdy, shipped fast, and designed for real DIYers. Stay to the end to see what we picked out and how it transformed this room.
Now we have to find a new washer and dryer for our family and make sure they will work with our design.
We considered a washer and dryer combo for space saving, but with a multi-generation family of 5, that wasn't going to logistically work out. We were looking for the largest capacity washer and dryer that could fit in our space.
Because of our small laundry room, we realized that we're going to have to get an appliance set that's stackable.
These new machines were way bigger and had more tech features than my mom was used to. We found a unit that can be stacked. It had all the features we liked, like an ultra-fresh venting system in the washer. And the washing machine had controls for the dryer that was going to be on top. We really appreciate thoughtful innovation.
We really like this set, but now we have a new challenge. The new washer's electrical cord will not reach the only outlet in the laundry room, so we have to make an outlet closer to the back wall. We decided to update the 80s outlet and box while installing a new one. We're doing this because it's not recommended to plug a large appliance into a power strip. And for your dryer, here's a tip. Make sure the cord on your dryer matches the prongs in your laundry room.
Now that we're in it, we just decided to update all of the electrical. That includes the switch and the light. We wanted to get as much done as we could before the appliances were delivered.
why it's the smallest.
You have to do the back.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure the dryer vent was clear since we're putting a whole new system in. It's a little weird that the exhaust vent is right by the AC unit, but now we know for future reference. We kept thinking of all these little things that needed to be done right before the appliances were delivered. Our 80s home has smaller doors, so we had to take off the hinges just to get all the appliances in. Mom was curious to see if that big washer and dryer set was really going to fit in that small space. Once they were in, we had to take our final measurements to double check our design and to make any last minute changes.
One change was that we had to switch out our light fixture because it was too long.
I'm so glad we found that out before we ordered our cabinets.
You know what? We ended up liking the new one better. Another change that we didn't expect was that the drain hose was too short to reach the standpipe. So we found another way to extend it and we bought longer washing machine hoses.
All these modifications got us thinking how we can cover this area of the laundry room in the future. Also, do me a favor, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And a special thanks to all of you who have given us super thanks. We really appreciate it and it helps our channel to grow.
Our cabinets shipped quickly and were intact. We checked each box to make sure they were ready to assemble.
We were so excited because this was our first time building cabinets.
This part with the double panel, and you have this one that has one.
We took our time so we could learn as we go and to share with others in the future. The funny thing is that it took longer than expected because we learned a lot of things as we went. The first lesson we learned is that the instructions that come in the boxes do not help. We had to watch installation videos for every piece. Another lesson is that ready to assemble cabinets don't always fit together perfectly.
Be prepared to make adjustments on individual pieces to make them fit.
You want to make sure that it goes all the way down past this mark right here. You want it to go past this mark right here because you have to slide the back panel through this whole entire back section. So we didn't do that on, I think, every last one of these.
So we're gonna have to take off the back little part right here. We're gonna have to take those off and use a mallet to push it all the way down in there. Because I thought it was in, because it felt like it was in.
You gotta clear
But you have
these
to clear
grooves.
this part right here. Another lesson is the height of your doorway matters when dealing with small spaces. So we had to disassemble the entire cabinet and cut each piece to fit it into the laundry room.
Now it was time to select our cabinet hardware. We wanted to match the trim of the washer and dryer and the door hardware. We always look for one that can fit both of our hands. And we try them out because some have like sharp edges or just don't really feel nice to our hands when you're pulling them. And we also like longer handles for upper cabinets.
Our next challenge was installing the pulls. So this is 1.5. See that it's 5 1/16. 5 32nd inch. It's pretty easy. The main thing is to make sure that they're straight.
The hardware looked great on the cabinets, but before putting them back into the laundry room, we made an executive decision to cut down the kick space at the bottom of the cabinet. We didn't want any problems getting this back in. We only had a few inches to work with so that the other cabinets would still fit over the washer and dryer.
Okay, push it. Push it right. I gotta thank my daughter for helping me pull this cabinet in both times. She's always been a great DIY helper. Okay, push. 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 We got it in, and this time it fit. So now we're gonna build the rolling trays.
We have some fire.
Right here, you push it down. Now you can pull it out.
The rolling trays are pretty easy to build, but this upper cabinet, this gave us a lot of challenges. The front frame of this cabinet was cut wrong, but we didn't know that at first. We tried so many times to make it fit. Finally, we spoke to Home Cabinet Support and they walked us through getting a new frame. So that meant we had to disassemble it again. We totally ditched the written instructions and just went with what support told us. And this time we built it starting with the frame first. Then we built the box around that.
Knowing what to do and having the right parts makes it a lot easier. Something else that was unexpected was we didn't realize we would have to customize the side panel to fit our hoses.
We were almost at the finish line. Our son helped us to lift the top cabinet up so that we could secure it with the cabinet connectors.
Everything was in place and I installed the rolling trays. So guys, we're finally done with this laundry room makeover.
Thank you to Home Cabinets for helping us transform our laundry room.
So come on, let's take a look.
We want to show you what we've done. We have our pantry cabinet, and I love how tall it is. It has 2 sections here, and we went with the sliding drawers. So that is so nice. We're going to be using that for putting our supplies on. And the extra shelves we put here at the bottom. This is where I'm probably going to put my dryer sheets and things I can just pull out when I need them and then put them back in. And since we don't really have counter space with this setup, we got these collapsible laundry baskets, and we're gonna put them right here. That's how our setup is going to be. And then we can close them out with a slow close.
Yes, that's one of the things I like, is the fact that we have these slow close door hinges. These are nice.
And these come with every home cabinet. So the kids won't be slamming all of the doors. And then we have the upper cabinet that we're gonna use for storage. These are our new washer and dryers that we picked out, and we love them for our family. And one of the things that we really like about this unit is that you can control the dryer from down here.
Where the washer machine is.
Where the washing machine is, yeah, for this level. So for my mom and for the shorter people that may not be able to reach up here, that is great. Let's take a look at all the things that were updated in the room. Hubby did the new lighting. It's much, much brighter in here. And the lighting comes with a remote control where we can put a timer in. So just walking in the laundry room, the light will come on.
We updated the switch.
We've updated our switch. We've updated the
door handles
for the pantry and to this bathroom that we need to update as well. And then we've painted the entire space, and we gave the vent a little refresh.
The only update that we have left is to cover up this area right here, because we want to make sure that it looks nice when you're looking this way. We're going to think of something creative for this area, and if you have any ideas, let us know in the comment section. We appreciate you.
We really appreciate you guys being with us on this chapter of our new life.
And if you like this video series, give us a thumbs up, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to the channel.
And remember,
You can DIY too. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.